Hi everybody, my name is Mateusz and today I have a pleasure to talk about maximizing customer lifetime value using data analysis and micro-segmentation. I'm going to share with you some insights from Health Labs Care, so stay focused and let's go. Probably most of you know Health Labs Care, but for those who aren't familiar with us, we are selling supplements and cosmetics. Right now, we have more than 100 own products in our portfolio. We started 4 years ago, and during that time, we have achieved thousands of hundreds of customers who return pretty often to our shop. I'm working at Health Labs Care as a head of revenue operations, which translates in my case to managing analytics and CRM teams and to advisory in the area of marketing channels, campaigns, and promotions. I'm also estimating demand for our products. So today I will share with you our general approach towards customer retention, what is important for us and what is not, how do we look at KPIs and which biases we are avoiding. Secondly, I will share our experience of managing CRM using data to be like real data driven, not only as a buzzword. The third point I'm going to share today is that what actually microsegmentation means to us. How do I understand that? Why you should also think about microsegmentation, and how can we use it to grow in the area of retention incrementally? And this is a very important word. And finally, I will show you some practical working examples of our recent wins in the area of increasing retention rates. Some of those ideas will be pretty obvious, but I will share with you also some out of the box ideas that you could repeat in your business. So let's move forward. Let's start from helicopter view. Uh, Improving retention is challenging because you have to think about many areas that may impact your final result of working on your retention rates. When it comes to channels, it is not only important to pick specific channels that will build communication with your customers, but also it's important to adjust what are we trying to say via those channels to our customers. You can educate, you can urge to buy, you can send just a simple content to make them feel interested, you can support them. You should not only urge customers to buy but also educate, probably in your case. But how often and what should be the proportion between those reasons to use our channels? uh, that is a question you have to answer based on your environment and business case. Next, how often and in which moment we should use those channels? Do we want to educate a customer during his or her 4 weeks or 5 weeks or 2 weeks after making a new purchase? How many emails do we want to send? Or how to use call center if we have one? Is one phone call per 3 months sufficient, or is that too much or too little? So you have to find those answers to that questions. Also, customers, very important. Who are actually our customers? Do you have just like one group of pretty similar customers, or you have like 10 or 20 or maybe 100 of specific groups? Without perfectly knowing who your customers are, you will not be able to adjust communication between those groups. For example, at Health Labs Care, we may have some users that want to lose weight, some that have skins problem, some that want to sleep better. So those are completely different reasons to buy, and sending the same email with the same topic to all of them is certainly not an optimal way of communication. I will say about certainty next slide, so I'll skip that. And also, I'm recommending to you to think about what part of marketing budget you are ready to spend on recurring transactions. Probably most of you know how much you are able to pay for a new customer, but how much can you pay for acquiring a returning transaction? Uh, I have decided that you can calculate that, knowing perfectly what are the increments of your actions in this area. Let's move forward. Okay, now let's dive into certainty for a while. Attribution doesn't mean causation. And if your analytics tool shows that you have, for example, 100 transactions from email, that doesn't mean that you have 100 transactions that would not have happened if those customers had not gotten email. Probably this is one of the most common biases in the area of causations. Remember that any attribution method doesn't show incremental values, no matter you use first touch, last touch, or multi-touch attribution. If you have 95% of traffic coming from a single channel, that approach might be closer to truth. But if you have more than one important channel, it gets trickier. For example, if you have like 5 channels with more than 10% of total traffic or transactions, it will be super hard to define how many of those transactions were gained incrementally from each channel. Also, the more direct entrances and transactions, the harder to define that, as your brand gets more and more recognition and awareness, and some of those customers will buy no matter they get an email or see an ad. Summarized KPIs also can be tricky to understand. For example, customer lifetime value can be changing not because of your actions, but because of different users' distribution, and it is happening all the time. That is why it is super important to analyze your KPIs in a more detailed way, per customer segment, per customer channel. It is also easy to pick some selected KPIs to claim that your actions had good results. We should not be too optimistic about results, to not cheat ourselves. And typically, we have a tendency to react on the positive signals much better than to negative ones. So, note here, learn about bias avoidance and popularize that approach. Okay, and that's it when it comes to theory. Now, I will share with you some insights when it comes to practice. At Health Labs Care, we had all of those challenges that I've already mentioned, and this is how we approach that. First of all, we created a framework of understanding our retention as a whole and picked some KPIs adjusted to our business case. Secondly, we mixed two teams, analytics and CRM, to create a synergy between actions and analysis and to better understand what are the actual results of our efforts. Thirdly, we have implemented a process of defining and implementing improvements, documenting them, and using them on a daily basis. Finally, we've built a data warehouse that collects all data we have at Health Labs Care, and with many additional segmentations that are an engine of our work on retention and communication. Having all of that, we integrated that data warehouse with CRM, call center, text messages, and other channels to combine our approach for all of those channels and to be able to conduct multi-channel tests. Note here, I recommend hiring good and proactive and pragmatic analysts to jump on a higher level with improving retention, and you should think about engaging them in CRM and retention activities. Now I want to show you our framework of working on customer phases. We can name it a supplementation lifecycle. We have created 6 categories that are a fundament for our work on retention rates. It helps us to adjust a specific tone and communicate to our customers, bearing in mind what is their actual stage. The first one is new supplementation, and this is the stage in which we are making sure customer has all the relevant information and knows how to use our product. The next phase is when a customer is consuming our products, and this is a perfect moment to educate them about value they can get from being consistent. And here we're making sure we do all we can to build a habit of consuming our goods. We calculate that period separately for each customer as they order different products in different quantities, maybe during the promotion or not. So there are huge differences. The third stage is when a customer should finish a supplementation, and this is a moment in which we are starting to urge a customer to continue good habits and therefore to buy again. The last 3 stages is where we are focused pretty much, as those mean that a customer has not continued supplementation, and we put much effort to adjust frequency, timing, channels, personalization, and our offer to them to make them buy again. The ladder the stage, the more creative and aggressive we can be. So we measure retention via calculating how many customers we were able to bring back to the first stage. And this is how we work on retention. Okay, so when it comes to micro-segmentation, at Health Labs, we have created more than 50 customer traits that we analyze and constantly monitor, not only using dashboards or reports, but we use that to define who specifically reacted on our communication via different channels and who did not. I want to mention here some crucial segments, non-obvious segments that we use that are useful for us on a daily basis. So the first and the most important one is a key reason to buy. This is a value that we have attributed to all of our customers, of course, in some categorical way, but I believe that's a nice approximation of their reason to buy, and it is based on the products they bought, the products they viewed, the emails and content they reacted on. So our customers, for example, may have skin problems. They might want to lose weight or to improve their mood and restore healthy sleep. So this is pretty important to differentiate the initial key reason to buy and the current one, because that of course can change if you will solve the initial problem. Another one is wealth. You can just simply mix postal codes from shipping address and your customer phone model, and that combination will give you a pretty nice approximation of what is wealth of your customer. So you can use that information to adjust your offer to a specific customer, because some customers might be able just to buy more. Regularity, of course, we'll calculate that based on historical orders, discount response. So how likely is a customer to react on a specific discount value? And it is pretty important to know that because this is a pretty easy way to optimize your margin, just to not send to high discounts to specific clients that don't need them to buy. The almost last one is expected time of reactions of customers. So mainly I'm saying about making a purchase. So some customers react better during evenings. Some prefer to buy product in the morning. Some are doing it only in the weekends. So I recommend differentiating that and adjust your communication to that specific windows. And the last one that we use, but maybe not the last one, but the last one that I'm mentioning here is how likely is a customer right now to make a purchase again. This is useful because we simply don't want to urge customers with relatively low purchase consideration score to not waste their energy and our energy. A word about the process. Uh, we simply test everything. So I highly recommend doing that. So let's start from hypothesis. How many customers do you think will react after a specific action you will undertake? What should be the sample size and the characteristics of the sample size? Uh, After the action, you have to check which customers reacted on a trigger. So that is the definition of micro-segmentation. So which specifically customers reacted on a trigger. After that, document all of the insights in a knowledge database, attribute those insights to specific segments, repeat, iterate, repeat, iterate. Okay, moving forward, a word about our tech stack. Uh, in the middle of everything, the engine is data warehouse, and it is integrated in both ways with CRM and call center. We are also integrated with our shop, with front end and back end. So we have all the necessary data that we need, and analyst is a super important part in here because analysts can analyze results of our current actions, but also use can use insights and tests and documented wins and fails from previous weeks, months, or years to perfectly brief our CRM team and call center team how to optimize their actions, and also to help us understand what are the actual results of our actions and how they impacted specific segments of our customers. Okay, now it is time for cases. The first thing I want to talk about is when we wanted to optimize a specific moment in which we are trying to urge customers, new customers, to come back. So we can name it an onboarding, and the first urging messages. So we also know pretty well that customers can get annoyed if they get too many communicates about buying again, or if they get those messages too fast. So we have calculated for each user what is expected time of return consideration to not jump a gun, and adjusted all channels to that strategy. So marketing automation and call center and text messages to that approach. And finally, it resulted in 11% of increase of long-term customer lifetime value. And we checked that using A/B test of a new approach and the previous one. So that is our first win. Now the second case, call center campaigns. We decided to check what will happen if we make a phone call without trying to sell anything, but to check how is our customer smooth, if her or he has all needed information, and to show that we just simply care about them. We really wanted just to show that care, but of course, we were also curious if that kind of campaign will have any impact on our retention rates and other KPIs. Surprisingly, we saw about 5% higher retention rates for the customers that were included in our test campaigns. So, probably those phone calls made customers more likely to come back to us because we reminded them that we exist and that we are a cool company that cares about them. So, they just came back on their own. We have also conducted that test using A/B tests and checked a couple of times after finishing the test whether the difference between those groups is still noticeable in time. It changed a little, but was still enough to claim that the test group performed better in the terms of retention rates even after 6 months from the test. Uh, let's move forward to the third and the last case. Uh, Probably many of you have conducted a promotion at least once, and probably many of you conduct a promotion from time to time. Someday at Health Labs, we were discussing what type of promotion should we conduct in a near future. And we saw four different variants of promotion that we were considering that were actually pretty similar to each other when it comes to average expected discount. But we wasn't sure how customers will react on those variants and which one will be the best for us. So which one will let us to achieve the highest revenue and the highest margin. So this is how we did that. We selected randomly a tiny part of our customer base and divided that into four equal parts. Next, we sent to all of those groups different communicates and different promotion conditions to check how will they react on them. We had to pick just one type of promotion as we were going to launch ads, change our homepage, and so on. So, despite that, some segments reacted better on different types of promotion. We choose the one that was the best comparing to other promotion variants. So the final difference between the best and the worst tested variant was 23% higher margin. So after a week from our tests, we have conducted that winning type of promo and celebrated super nice results. So, to sum up my presentation, I pointed out a couple of key takeaways that I would love to uh, be remembered by all of you. So, the first one is understand your customers and their traits. I recommend engaging analysts to do that. Build your own segmentation adjusted to your business and to your customers. Implement micro-segmentation analysis by implementing many different segments. Use those differences and those segments to adjust communication. Test all the time. Document your insights. Uh, Conduct A/B tests and make holdout groups. Uh, Create the process of improving retention rates and iterate on and on. Uh, Remember about incremental value and biases that you should avoid on a daily basis and popularize that approach. And finally, and optionally, mix CRM and analytics to achieve better synergy between those channels. So that concludes my presentation. Please feel free to ping me on LinkedIn or to write a message via email. I will be happy to answer any questions or to discuss any area mentioned today. So, thank you for your attention and goodbye.